This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by Peninsula Regional Medical Center.
The numbers are staggering. Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is sexually assaulted. And what's worse, hundreds of thousands of them are waiting years, even decades, for the rape kits, the evidence collected from their bodies after the assault, to be tested. This leaves predators free to rape again. Now, there's an effort to change that.
A quiet walk for Rosa Pickett.
It was right in that area where that White House is at. I was on that side of the street.
Became a fight for her life.
He had that belt and he put it around my neck and he was choking me. And when we was tussling from that side of the street to the middle of the street, all the way over to this side of the street. And this is where my rape took place, right here in this wooded area right here, where I almost lost my life, September the 3rd, 1977.
36 years later, Rosa's case remains unsolved.
And they said, well, we're working on it. We're working on it. But actually, in reality, no one was working on it.
It's just one of the thousands of backlogged rape cases across the country awaiting investigation.
Less than 20% of evidence in sexual assault cases have ever been tested in our country.
Julie Smolansky founded the nonprofit Test 400K this year after learning more than 400,000 untested rape kits are sitting untouched in police storage facilities around the country, some dating back more than 3 decades.
I am appalled that this could have happened and that we treat this evidence, worse than we treat the garbage in my alley.
Statistics show a woman is twice as likely to be raped in her lifetime than to develop breast cancer. Yet 97% of rapists will never spend a day in jail.
It's a public safety issue for every single one of us. It means every time that a kit isn't tested, that is not analyzed, that means a perpetrator walks free.
The cost of testing forensic evidence from a rape kit is $1,200, while law enforcement agencies cite lack of resources as the top reason why they haven't tested the kits. Smolansky isn't buying it.
I would like to empower others to also rise up and speak and say this is not okay and, fight for our rights together.
Together with other women's rights groups, she's asking Congress to approve a $117 million budget for testing in 2014. Rosa believes it's a small price to pay.
One woman can make a difference in a lot of lives, and I'm hoping that my life, my testimony will make a difference with all these women of rape,
including those in the future.
And while more money from Congress could help solve thousands of crimes, the statute of limitations has run out for many of them, meaning even if a match is found, the perpetrator cannot be prosecuted. Still, advocates say testing the kits can help provide closure to victims and may help tie perpetrators to other crimes. Our next guest has more on what you need to know if you find yourself or a loved one a victim. Eunice Esposito is the coordinator for the forensic nursing program at PRMC, as well as the sexual assault response team coordinator, and she joins us this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We just saw in that piece that there is a backlog in many parts of the country. Do you see that happening here?
On a local level, I'd have to say no. I find that within our local counties, that's not happening. They're pretty aggressive as far as the prosecution piece of it and running it when necessary.
That's certainly good news. Now, of course, it's something that we never want to happen to any of us or our friends or daughters, but the truth is it does happen. So if you find yourself a victim or you know someone who is a victim, what's the first thing you do?
Victims have a lot of choices. They can call police. They can come to the hospital. They can call life crisis. There's a lot of different options for them.
Right. But if they feel unsafe in a situation.
And getting to a safe location.
Yeah, yeah. If you go straight to the hospital, let's say, after the attack, should you take anything with you?
They are basically the crime scene, so it's important for them to get there. If they have clothing that was involved in the incident, they can bring that with them. If they don't, it's not enough to turn around and go and get that.
Right.
We can always catch up with things like that later or let law enforcement know about that later.
So you're saying the body itself is basically the crime scene?
The crime scene, yes.
Okay. And when you get to the hospital, you need to tell people that you want a rape kit?
If that's what they want to do, yes, they can let the staff know that they want to collect a rape kit. There's also something that we call a Jane Doe kit or anonymous reporting, and they can have a kit collected without involving law enforcement as well.
Okay, and let's step back a little bit. You say that you should pretty much leave everything alone. I mean, taking a shower and things like that, you don't want
They should
the
not be
victim to do
doing that. If
Okay.
it just happened, don't brush your teeth, try not to go to the bathroom, come immediately to the emergency department, and we can begin the evidence collection.
You want that evidence preserved. Okay, what happens, what evidence is collected in that rape kit?
It depends on the history of what occurred during the event. So we try to get a detailed history of the event, and then we will take swabs. We collect a little bit of blood from them to get their DNA, but it really depends on what happened.
So the first thing you do is talk to the victim.
Absolutely.
All right, so what happens to the rape kit after that, after everything's collected?
It's sealed in an evidence collection type manner, the same way law enforcement would do that, and then it gets handed off to law enforcement. We don't do long-term storage, so it goes to a law enforcement facility.
What if you think you've been drugged? Because we all know that happens as well.
Yeah, that is an issue. We have special kits which we would collect blood and urine, and that too is handed off to law enforcement because they have the ability of sending it to the FBI lab, which does a broader spectrum of running for different drugs and things like that.
But this shouldn't be confused with drinking, or if you yourself maybe have taken drugs or something like that, right?
Right.
We're talking about if you think you've been drugged by
Correct.
the suspect.
Correct.
Okay. Obviously, an attack like this, it's physically damaging, but it's very psychologically damaged. Is there help for that aspect of it?
When they come to the hospital, they are given the option of involving an advocate, a rape advocate, and that is, we use the services of Life Crisis. So we can activate those folks to come while the patient is in the emergency department, and they will come and begin the counseling process with them.
Okay.
So they can come then. If they choose not to, they are discharged with that information, and they can certainly call them at any point in time and begin the counseling process with them, or at least be given some other resources and know when to begin.
Okay, and we're not just talking random attacks. What if you know the attacker?
If they know them, then they can certainly once again, it's a safety issue, and they need to involve law enforcement, or even, once again, Life Crisis can help them with some of the issues. They have an attorney who's actually on board with them now, and can give them some ideas for peace orders and things like that.
Yeah, because statistics do show that most victims know their attacker.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, finding, I guess, a perpetrator is easier now that you have a system. It's called CODIS. Tell us about that.
Well, it's a system, it's a combined, it's the DNA index system, and it is, there are various rules that are involved, but when the rape kits are run and the DNA can be uploaded into this system, and it's on a national level.
So it's like a DNA database, basically?
Yes. There's a lot of rules that are involved with that, but what can happen is this DNA can be matched against other DNA, and so victims are going to be given the chance to perhaps have some closure in these cases, and it's, like I said, it's on a national level.
All right, Eunice, thank you so much good information. Of course, we're going to have a lot of information on our website, including the number for Life Crisis Center, and you can read more about Peninsula Regional Medical Center there as well. Just click on the show tab. Well, it's nice to know there is support available when you or a loved one is going through a time of need. There's also help out there for aging loved ones. Up next, how your family can have peace of mind when it comes to caring for those who just can't get around like they once could. And later, we'll also help give you peace of mind if you happen to be planning a wedding. Find out how you plan your special day in just one day. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.